Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to welcome you to Fairfield County Budget Workshop Session Number 2 on Monday, May the 18th, 2026. At this time, may I get a approval of the agenda? The motion is second that we approve the agenda. There's no questions. Prepared to vote. All in favor say aye. That the record shows 6-0. For the record, Ms. Swear just said was unable to be today. She notified us that she would not be here today. Now we have invocation by Councilman Dan Roof.
Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. Thank you for all our blessings. Lord, we just ask you that you guide and direct us in all the decisions we make, and that everything we do and say would be according to your will. We ask all these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, sir. Now, the department head request, Mr. Carpenter, if you would.
Good afternoon. As y'all see in front of y'all is our request for EMS. If you have any questions to any of these, just please let me know, and I'll be glad to answer them for you. Yeah. So I'll highlight some of the high amounts or the high increases in certain areas. As you can see, for salaries for us, there is an increase there from last year. This is largely due to, for the last several years, we've not been fully staffed. And so our budget requests have been on the lower side. Now that we're fully staffed and going into this current fiscal year, we are running, our salaries are starting to increase. This was something we noticed the last couple of years that we was going to be getting into this position. However, since we wasn't fully staffed, I wasn't going to take and present this type of increase to y'all. This is no new positions. This is just our current positions. And the way the county is set up and the way we're structured, this funding covers 4 out of the 6 stations each day. The other 2 stations are covered by PRN and overtime. So as you can see, there is those increases there for overtime and for our PRNs. We did take and ask for another increase in our education training services. This is partly due to the cost of some of our programs and some of our certifications that we must obtain. That cost is starting to go up. Tuition assistance, historically we've been around the $17,000 mark. Last budget cycle, this current fiscal year was at $10,000. We're requesting to get that placed back at $17,000. This will help us continue to take in advanced certifications of our providers to get them into the realm of being paramedics. We did take and also ask for another increase in our catered and prepared meals. This is largely due to us trying to create more of a fellowship and partnership with our staff, and for our EMS week, which is currently this week here. Medical supplies, we're already at about $160,000 this year alone in our medical supplies. Last year, we was 145, so we've requested to get to 160 for fiscal year '27. We did take and find some areas that we wanted to take and decrease in so we could take care of some of these increases. Most of our operational aspect has remained very close to what it was last year, is just moving the money in different areas. Our clothing supply, we did take and cut that down this year because we knew last year, going into this year, we had a lot of new employees and we needed to take and make sure we had enough uniforms for our staff. And we did take and also trim off 5,000 off of our office furniture and equipment. Those are the big highlights when it comes to our general operating budget. Any questions with any of these requests, or we'll proceed on to the capital side?
Any councilman have any questions?
I got one. Mr. Carpenter, I see the actual amount, 2026, actual amount, it looks like 4,508,609. What was the actual budgeted amount? Are they under budget, over budget? What are they now as we stand for 2026? Okay, what do we budget for them?
We budgeted for them, that's not on here. Let me see, it's in
The adopted budget for 2026 for Councilman Pauly, referencing the personnel services aspect.
The total budget.
The total budget, yes, sir. So that was including, that would be 4.7. Yeah,
Okay. Thank you.
yes, sir.
Sorry to interrupt you.
No, sir.
Mr. Martin, your budget, your department request was a lot higher than what is being presented right now, especially for salaries.
Yes, sir.
What was your original request, and is the amount that's being proposed for salaries, specifically, but the department request looks like it was 5.6 million, and we're budgeting 2.7, so.
Yes, sir. Yes, so, Councilman Goldbach, that was our request to be able to have staffing across the board for all 6 stations, which would include having to add 16 new full-time positions.
That's what I was wondering. So what's the cost of fully staffed for all 6 stations? It's
Yes, sir.
basically another $1 million, basically. Yeah, okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Anyone else have any questions?
All right, thank you, Mr. Chairman. On our capital side, on our items that are under $50,000, there is 2 items that we are requesting to be funded. The first one is very generic. It does just say gym equipment. There is an upcoming OSHA requirement that's going to be presented down to EMS. It's going to kind of mirror some of the requirements that the fire department has. And so in order for us to take and be able to start meeting some of those metrics and stuff, we're requesting an investment into that. The second request on there is for Nitronox. Nitronox is a pain administration gas. If you've ever been to the dentist, they call it laughing gas. That's what it basically is. We've been deploying Nitronox now for over 3 years. We're wanting to take and add to our current supply by getting 3 more of these units so we can have them on all of our ambulances. In regards to our capital needs over 50,000, we did try to keep our request a lot lower than what we originally would have presented, but we're requesting replacing one of our ambulances that is going, it's beyond its lifespan already. It's got about 330,000 miles on it. That total cost will be $429,000. That does include a new stretcher, which would need to be replaced for it, a new power load system, which would need to be placed on it as well, because ones that are on that unit now are beyond its lifespan as well. This unit would be anywhere between, it'll depend on the timing of this, of when it could be delivered. It could be delivered as soon as 6 months after the order, or it could take us as long as 4 years to get it. So we do have some other backup plans just in case for this, but again, the request there to replace the ambulance would be $429,000. And the last item that's on there is to purchase a new shift supervisor vehicle. This vehicle, currently we have anyone who has seen our supervisors on the units, they are a small rescue truck. This was done historically due to, with the fire department having mostly volunteers, with, of course, the rescue squad being completely volunteer. The county had took and invested in these larger type of vehicles. It's not really practical for our supervisors to be riding up and down the road in a light rescue truck. So what we're requesting is to replace that one with a F-350, which will also include all the upfittings and costs with that as well. To replace that vehicle with its current with a current light rescue, not only will it take us about a year and a half to get it, it will also be, the last estimate we got was $310,000 to replace it that way. So by switching from a light rescue to a Super Duty vehicle is going to significantly save us on that type of replacement cost, and will also make the extended life a lot longer for these vehicles, because they're not meant to be driven up and down the road every single day like that.
Question, why the 350 versus the 250?
Because of our payload that we need, because each one of our supervisors' units, they still carry a full complement of rescue tools on them. And to continue having that capability, we will have to have a 350 versus 250.
Mr. Chair, I'm going back to this gym equipment, $25,000 gym equipment. So you telling me that y'all be physical fitness?
Yes, so OSHA is passing down a revisement, and EMS is going to be brought under that umbrella because of it. So we're still waiting for the last bit of the requirements to be put forth. But from our understanding and talking with other agencies like us around, we're wanting to try to get ahead of that requirement by taking and providing our staff the ability to take and exercise while they're here on shift. Because the way that the OSHA requirement is going to make us do it is they're going to be provided a method while they are in the course of their job. The requirement, it will be in place either by the end of this calendar year or the first part of next year from everything that we've been told. So in order to get ahead of that, that's why we're requesting it now in this operating budget.
So this may be a question for Mr. Carpenter, but does this OSHA regulation apply to all emergency services like fire and the sheriff's department?
Fire already has their requirements in place. For us, it's something very new for EMS. To be able to provide our providers the ability to maintain physically fitness. And because of that, we've looked at different options as far as, seeing what it would cost for gym membership, seeing what it would cost for other items. That would be, this is more of a one-time investment where those others are going to be a reoccurring cost. And those reoccurring costs could take and continue to skyrocket up. And there's not much options here locally for them to be able to do that.
So is this 25,000 to equip all of the 6 stations with the treadmill and with free weights and whatever?
Yes, sir.
And just go back to your question, it is normal for emergency stations to have gyms, and not only the sheriff's office, to have gyms as well. So, this is something, all my counties and fire and EMS have always had, equipment essential. So we just have never had any equipment in the EMS side. We do have that fire.
And I guess that was my last question. So it has to be in the station, it can't be a central location where it's accessible by more people?
It can be in a central location, but that's when you're going to now start taking units away from those coverage areas. And that's that balancing act that we've got to find, because once we pull them away from that coverage area, then that's going to lead to longer response times. It's also going to put wear and tear on the ambulances. We're working very hard to keep our units in their districts in order to be able to serve Fairfield County the best way possible.
Thank you.
So you're saying that you want them to work out while they're working?
That's going to be the requirement. Yes, sir.
Work out while they're working
Yes, sir.
instead of the day off?
Yes, sir. And this is where, again, our EMS Association is really working with OSHA on this requirement and to try to find a better path forward because, again, just like with the fire department, none of us know when that next call is going to come out. So we have to be prepared, have to be ready, which is why, again, by doing the investment in a way that will better serve everyone is by having it in each one of the areas versus just one centralized.
I got one. So if everybody had them, who is OSHA gonna monitor or test who is this just voluntary or, if
Yeah,
it's required? Then
we have to show that we are providing this ability to all of our employees. If we do not give them the opportunity to do this, it will be shown in violation of OSHA.
So then they could all be put in all these facilities and never used?
Well, I will tell you, one of the things that often gets asked of us when I talk about, my leadership staff is, hey, we would like to have some type of equipment to be able to take and, stay a little bit more active. Because again, there is a lot of times in which, our providers have to eat on the run. We don't get to eat very healthy, which is why some of us got a little bit of a pooch on us. But our staff is asking for the ability to do this. This is my third budget that I have prepared strictly, and each year I've had a request for it, but this is the first year I've put it forth.
Yeah, I think it's a good thing, and I think that all the first responders probably need that exercise to stay in shape. It's just odd that there's no way to monitor and make sure that it's done, that it's not wasted. But
Yes, sir. Which again was why we were presenting the upfront cost to begin with versus a reoccurring cost of someone who may not go to the gym.
Anyone else?
Thank y'all.
Sir? Good afternoon, and thank y'all for the opportunity to come before you and talk to you about our budget. The operational budget, the good news to start with, and then I can answer any questions or go into any lines you would like, but this year I'm asking for $73,910 less than last year. So I'm asking for less money. And I'll explain why. Last year's budget, I needed $100,000 to replace the out-of-date tires on the fire truck. We achieved that, so I was able to give most of that money back and still put some stuff in areas I needed it in my budget. We did move some stuff around to other lines to make things a little more operational, but it is a substantial bit less than last year in the operational budget. Is there any specific areas you have questions about for that? Sir? Let's see here. Yes, $1,617,545.
Again, the bulk of that is always going to be with the salaries line.
Correct, yes.
So that's over $1 million.
Yes.
We do still have part-time temporary positions at 200, but this is not adding new positions to fire. Reason being because we don't have a fire plan yet, it tells us really what the council wants us to do. So the strategic plan that is approved calls for us to do a comprehensive study of fire to determine where we're going with fire in the next 3, 5, 7 years. And then that will dictate future budgets based on what the council wants us to do with fire. So it kind of maintains the status quo for fire this year because we, again, don't have that plan in place at the moment.
So what is the chief's plan until we get the plan?
Meaning, are we going to continue functioning like we are until we get the study? Yes, sir, we're going to continue functioning. Haven't cut positions. We're not asking for new, but if we had new positions, then we would have to recruit people, which we struggle with the schedule we work now and the facilities we have. So it's going to be a lot more to come into play from this study before we can truly grow.
So Chief, how many people have you lost this year, in the last year?
Paid or volunteer?
Either one, just give me.
Paid, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. All to higher paying departments that work a different schedule than we do.
All of them at higher pay?
They all left for more money and a different schedule, yes, sir.
So what we doing about doing retention? What we gonna do for retention?
I have tossed out some ideas about some different things we could do with our personnel budget, like raising pay, like giving incentives for people to get their EMT certification, because we have some people in EMT classes. I've tossed out some different ideas with administration we could look at to improve things.
So have we looked at anything like morale or anything like that?
Like a what now?
Morale, how's morale?
It could be better, it could be worse.
Is it worse or better?
With the fire service, it kind of fluctuates and it depends on who you would talk to. I've had some people, even members of the public, say things are the best they've seen it in a long time, and then you hear some people say it's terrible. It's all perspective to who's talking.
So the 4 full-time folks who left, have any of them been replaced? And are there requisitions out, or? You know?
We had 6 full-time firefighters, 2 left. I've hired 1 back. He's been here a very short time, and he's leaving to go back to a shift fire department with more pay.
And this, think this is, based on, I mean, we had a lot of, during our community input sessions for the strategic plan, we had a lot of feedback about fire services. And I expect that this fire study that will be done it's going to come up with some recommendations.
It will, yes,
Cost
sir.
some money, so we'll probably finish this study within the next couple months, I would think. You know, it's not gonna be sometime at the end of the fiscal year, but.
No, it's got to go out for bids and everything. It's something we're working
We would want to
on.
act on that, you know, as quickly as possible, I would think. So how can we fund that without really knowing what's ahead of us?
Well, if we decide to start something mid-year with it, that is a matter of county council and council making an application, that we've been hoping the budget to start funding that. Then the new budget next year will go that in. So again, right now, that's why I'm going to show this, we don't know what's going to recommend the kids. Is he going to recommend raising starting salary by $10,000 a year? Is he going to recommend going to a different shift? That's one of the things people say is the shift is run. As we found out in the EMS, when the shift, you know, like 24/7 that made a big difference from 24/7. So the shift we run as well as the pay is a big limiting factor. Plus, again, this facilities themselves, you know, the lack of any accommodations running a 24-hour shift, and you know, have beds or showers is difficult. So there are all these inherent limitations. We can fix one thing, but that doesn't help the other. If we put more full-time people on, but we can't have any place for them to stay overnight because the beds full. We raise salaries with the shifts on. So it's kind of one of those cases where we really need to know exactly what's going to call, and obviously that's going to be a community discussion, because it won't be cheap. And I don't know that to do it the way the community wants and the council would want, is something that's going to require some painful discussions. Do we go in the budget and adjust the budget accordingly to allow that? How do we do that? And that's something that really is going to require a good bit of time thought and effort from council as well, once we're getting this feedback in. But rather than piecemeal that, we say, let's go ahead and do this, and it really doesn't really do much.
Any other questions in the operational side? If not, the only capital I'm requesting is also less than last year, which is one Pierce engine with the necessary equipment to put it in service. It comes in at $585,312, and it would be taking a 1989 truck offline when it comes in. And as they've been running, the turnaround time would be 19 to 22 months to get the truck. So we're not going to get it within a year, even a year and a half from the time we buy it. So it is quite a lag receiving them.
So Chief, I understand that you have 2 new trucks right now, right, that came in?
Two tankers came in,
tankers
yes, sir.
came
They
in.
were ordered in 2023.
So how do you determine where these apparatuses go?
What area needs trucks, what area has the oldest trucks, what area runs the most calls. It's no one size fits all. It's putting one in where it'll be best utilized by everybody, whether it's in an area to support multiple stations in an area, whether it's in the busiest area. We have a plan of what truck's oldest, what comes out, but then where it goes is looked at multiple ways, if that makes sense.
So what you're saying, mostly for call for service?
It mostly goes on call volume, yes, sir.
So what are 2 plans for these trucks?
For the ones that's already here,
Yeah, what's the plan?
one is at the Greenbrier station, which is a busier station. One is at the New River Road station, Station 11, which is between Southeastern and Dutchman Creek. There's a lot of new volunteers in the area. Their call volume's been picking up, and it can be utilized by multiple stations there on the eastern side of the county.
The new one on River Road?
The one right beside the recycling center, the last station that was built.
Okay, I know what you're talking about now. Is
And
that being manned right now?
Sir?
Is that being manned right now?
No, sir. Station 8 is the station that's manned out there, Dutchman Creek, which the firefighter there also spends time at that station checking the trucks, running the trucks, doing stuff out of there too. He floats between the 2 doing stuff. See, truth be known, the way some of that factors, Ridgeway's got the highest call volume in the county, but the tanker that's there is got life left in it. It's a 97. We're still replacing 80-something trucks, but it's so big we have stations that won't fit in. So that's why sometimes you can't put somewhere at the busiest. You have to look at others because we have equipment that may not even fit in other buildings. So then you'd be getting rid of a 97 truck versus a 82 or 84 truck purely to put it at the busiest spot.
So how many 90s trucks you have left, did you?
We still got a good bit of 80s. It would take, if I remember right, it would take about 8 trucks to get us into the 2000s. I don't have my list in front of me, but we still got 3 89 Max. We got an 86 Ford. We got another 87, 88 Ford. I think last time I added it up, it would be like 6 or 7, maybe 8 top trucks to get us into the 2000s out of the 90s.
Thank you.
Okay. These have over 300,000 miles on them.
Actually, with fire trucks, it's not a ton of miles, but it's a lot of hours from them sitting there running on scenes, pumping, operating more than the miles. We may have a truck with 20,000 miles on it that most of the stuff on it's outdated, or we may have a 2018 truck with 25,000 miles because it's been run a lot. It's very dependent. Years ago, when a lot of these trucks were bought, there was a lot less call volume and everything, all volunteer, so they didn't get run as much.
Anyone else? Thanks, sir. We didn't mean to make you nervous.
Sorry, I just had to take that call really quickly. How's council doing today? All right. Well, this is a little bit different. Y'all down here with us today, huh? All right. Well, we'll jump right into it then. Not a lot that we have asked for in changes as opposed to last year's budget. But there are some comments here of some additional funds that we are requesting, so I'm going to start with those. And with that, that's going to jump us down to 5216, that's building maintenance. So we had an adopted budget of $0 last year, and with some of the building maintenance that we're having to maintain and different contractors to repair items, we have requested $13,500 there, okay? I think it's important to note that with that request being $0, a lot of our requests, I'm gonna jump forward a little bit here to 5232, okay? So 5232 was kind of a other budgeted line item that was contractual and for professional service. Well, when it comes to being financially responsible, the word other is not a very good word to use during the budget. So what we have done is that was $70,000. We have decreased that to $25,000 this year, okay? And with that decrease, we're gonna be moving funds into some other accounts. One of those counts being building maintenance, which is 5216. So where we previously asked for 0, that amount's going to increase to 13.5 this year. And some of those other funds are going to go into 5232.01. That's event production and contractual services. So that is a account that we use to expend funds that pay instructors, class instructors, whether it's dance, exercise classes, umpires, referees. So all that was coming out of that 5232 account previously, and we're now going to start to break that down where we can just be more accountable as to the funds that we're spending and why we're spending them. So with that 5232.01 being $0 adopted, we're going to request $30,000 there. So if you combine those amounts between the $30,000, the $25,000 of the other contractual, and then the 13.5, that's going to get you right to just under 70,000, which is actually 68.5. So we're actually asking for total about $1,500 less. It's just spread out over 3 accounts. Do y'all have any questions on that? I know that was kind of a lot. We're just budgeting those funds in a different way this year. But I'd be happy to answer any questions if any of that needs clarification.
Thank you. The building maintenance, now we do have a building maintenance department. And so why aren't we relying on them to do the building maintenance? Is this going to be using those people? It's just showing up in your department?
So some items, those items where we have to put in work orders for, if they are, we have to call out a specialist, or we have to call out a repair technician. Those are items that we'll get invoiced for. So those are the items that are not done internally.
Anyone else on this? Mr. Gaffney?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. In this maintenance part, is it in there with the painting of the rec yet, or just?
So that's going to be in our capital request.
It's gonna be in the capital?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
This is not a big issue, but I'm just curious. 2,500 for senior luncheon events. Is that 2,500 for all districts, or are we catering to a certain district?
So we have expanded our luncheon districts to include the Ridgeway Rec Center as well. So it does include throughout the county where it's been requested.
So Ridgeway and Blair or Jenkinsville?
That's correct. Yes, sir.
What about the Boykin Center that pretty much serves Mr. Getz and, pretty much everybody else?
So we've not had any requests to do luncheons here locally in Winsboro.
But we could.
We could, absolutely, yes. Yes, we could.
Someone asked us to do that, but it's just not a schedule.
Yep. And so we account for about $250 per luncheon. So we try to budget about $10 per participant, and we expect about between 20 and 25.
But that's gonna be 2,500 total for the year?
Correct.
For all districts?
That's correct.
Okay.
Mhm.
Mr. Vance, how are you?
Good, Mr. Bell.
Good. Can you tell me which recreation center in the county exceeds or does not exceed any other? Which is the most popular, most used?
I would say I don't have those numbers directly in front of me, but what I would say is that for your district specifically, since we have expanded our senior programming, those numbers have gone up tremendously. And then I would also say adding the transit route. When we had bingo last week, I believe they had 12 come off the bus. So that was a good showing in order to provide that service.
So you've added services to that
Yes.
area?
Yes.
Based upon requests or just an increase in numbers of
Yeah.
people?
So initially, yes, we did add it because it was requested, but at this point now, the programs are really sustaining themselves. So they continue to have good enrollment. We'll continue to offer that.
Anyone else?
Okay, so the next account that is going to have a increase in it, I'm going to go down to, this is a small increase, but that's going to be under 5301, just for office supplies. And a lot of that is due to, so we have printers that are not covered under the county contract just because of there's not a huge demand on those printers, but those printers do still need toner cartridges, and those are about $400 a piece. The next item, or the next account with a small increase, that's going to be our promotional supplies. That's at 5307. So we had an adopted budget of $5,000, and we're requesting $6,500 here. So we're requesting an additional $1,500 just to cover events. We have added a second 5K, which is going to add a 10K this year as well. That's the Color Me Fit Run, as well as participation in other community events, job fairs, veteran fairs, things like that. So we often get asked to participate in health fairs, and with that, we use a website to help put our logo on, whether it's cups, koozies, lanyards, pens, things like that. And so when we attend the events to hand out information, we'll hand out some promotional items as well. So the next account with an increased request is going to be the park maintenance supplies. So similar to kind of what we discussed with the contractual services account, we have done something very similar with our supplies account. So previously, we were using other supplies, which is 5326. We had $35,000 in that account, and this year we're asking for zero because, again, of that word other. It's just not a good accountable way to really define the way you're expending funds. So an account that was added was this park maintenance supplies, and we're requesting $20,000 there. And then our general event supplies, we're requesting $35,000 there, where previously it was zero. Under the request. So is that the actual amount or is that the request?
That's recognition.
Oh, okay. Oh, yep, you're correct. So the reason for that is because we took the other funds, the remaining $17,000, where it was $35 for that, we have added two other accounts in there, and that's going to be our pool supplies and athletic supplies. So as an additional way to kind of help define where these funds are going, when it comes to supplies, we have just separated those funds that way. So rather than asking for one large pot of money, we're asking for smaller pots of money.
I appreciate the additional accountability. Mr.
Yeah.
Vance. That's good. Thank you.
All right, so that's going to get us through the park maintenance, general event supplies. Oh, yeah.
5328, office furniture, equipment.
So we are requesting $3,000 there. We've got some buildings and some furniture that is just, the leather's coming away on it. Some of them are just bent and they're kind of consistently leaning forward. And there's not a really good inventory at the Hahn building, which we have checked on that. But there's just not good inventory there that we would like to put. We would kind of be trading one for the other. So we're requesting some funds there to put in new chairs at our front desks.
So the office furniture piece, this is the office furniture that is requested at the Jacobsville Rec Center is included.
They would be included with that, yes.
Thank you.
Let's see, so if we keep going down the line here, I'm going to fast forward to 5327, that's community events and activity. So as we previously had a $2,500 adopted budget, we're going to request $6,000 this year. So we're requesting an additional $3,500 just to provide entertainment and supplies for 3 new community events that we have scheduled. One is an Easter egg hunt, which we just had in March, but we will have it again in March of 2027. And then as well as a back to school bash and then a trunk or treat as well. So those are 3 events that we're going to put on our calendar that we would like to have funds for, to provide supplies for. And we have those 3 events so that it kind of covers throughout the county. We can have one on the eastern side and the central side, and then one on the western side. If we go to 5330, that's landscaping supplies. We've requested an additional $2,000 there. So we're from our 2026 adopted budget, which was $12,000, we're going to request $14,000. That's just to cover costs for maintaining landscapes. We're now also maintaining the landscape over at Legacy Park as well. So we've had to put some sod down there, and it's going to take fertilizer, seeding, but we did put that sod down back in February, I believe. So we've added that to our list as well to maintain. There is a small increase in 5401.05, that's rental. So that covers our rentals for our uniforms, for our grounds crew. And the reason why we're asking for an additional $1,500 there is just to cover costs of a previously vacant, it was a long time vacant maintenance position, but that position has been filled. There's also a small increase in 5403, that's our dues, membership, and fees. So we're requesting an additional $1,000 for the increased cost of providing our SCRPA memberships to all of our department employees. It was previously offered to 3 employees, but we would like to offer it to each full-time employee in order for them to attend conferences and, correct, yes. Whether they're workshops, we do receive a discounted rate in order to attend those events if we're a member. Again, small increase, it's $54.15, that's liability insurance, so we're just requesting additional $200 to cover the cost of that additional 5K/10K race that we're offering in July. And that will conclude all of the increases that we've asked for. Any questions on those from council? Or any other item?
Mr. Van. And like I said, it goes back to not it being a lot of money. But I know we're not getting into a habit of trying to provide a Easter egg hunt in every single district or a back to school bash in every single district. Whatever happened to having one event in a central location for everybody to come to?
So for those 3 events, that is 1 Easter egg hunt, 1 back to school bash, and 1 trunk or treat. I hope, is that what you're, it's just,
So one Easter egg hunt might be the eastern part, the trunk or treat might be the western part.
but it's just one of those events per, okay. Mhm. Anything else from council?
Any questions? Oh, Mr. Gadsden, I'm sorry.
Do we still have the gym that's supposed to be on Andrade Park,
Our community fitness center, yes.
Community Fitness Center?
Yes.
Do county employees still get discounts for that?
They do. So a individual membership for the facility is $20, for a county employee is $10.
So what all equipment is in there? Fully staffed?
Yeah, I would say that you can get a full workout in there. I've been there myself many times. 4 treadmills, a couple spin bikes, recumbent bikes. There are 2 squat stations with full racks. There's a cable machine. chest press, lateral pull down machine. There's leg press. There's leg curl and extension machine. And it also, in that same facility, also is what houses our exercise studio. So that's where a majority of our exercise classes are held at as well.
So all the county employees can go
Yes.
exercise anytime they get ready? And we maintain it by the county?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
Now we have,
Mr. Vance,
yes.
all events that are held at these recreation centers, are they all funded by the county, or are they funded by citizens or individuals?
So our general expenses are funded. Now, we do have a revenue account that we do accept for donations and sponsorships. So whether it's a 5K or whether it's for spring sports sponsorships or different team sponsorships, we do have a way to generate some revenue off of sponsorships and donations as well.
Okay.
But I guess I should be clear though, because that money does not come to Parks and Recreation. It goes to the general fund.
Okay. What is the percentage of sponsorship events at recreations
Sure.
around
So,
Fairfield County?
okay. So I actually have that. Let's see here. So we're anticipating, so I was actually kind of led me right into that, Councilman Bell. So I was going to go over our fee schedule as well. We are asking for some updates to our fee schedule. But right now, with our current fee schedule, we're projected to generate a total of $126,501 of revenue for the fiscal year of 2027, with donations and sponsorships. So actually, this report does not have the donations and sponsorships on it. But I can tell you that our 5K sponsors, we charge $100 to sponsor the 5K, and we typically get anywhere from 8 to 10 sponsors per race, and there's 2 races a year, and as well as the baseball and softball sponsorships. Those are $300 sponsorships, and we generally have anywhere from 12 to 20 sponsorships there. Yes. So of the $126,501 projected revenue, it is projected that for the youth sports that just under $17,000, that'd be $16,770 would be accounted of revenue for the youth sports. Where our largest revenue builder is after school program, which generates $38,105. And then summer camp is $24,920. And then our aerobic and exercise fitness revenue account, which that is what gym members would pay towards each month, or whether it be fitness classes that they pay towards each month, that is projected to generate $22,795.
Anyone else? You have anything else, Mr. Vance?
So for our fee schedule, I would like to ask for the fee schedule. I don't know if y'all have that in your packets or not. Okay. Do you just want me to go over it still? Okay. Should I still go over it now? Here, okay. So I'm just going to go over I can go through them all. So our current fees for tackle football are $40. We're requesting a fee change of $50 there. Our current fee for flag football is $20. We're requesting a fee change of $25. Current fee schedule for our 7-on-7 football is $20. We're requesting a fee change of $30. Our 5U and 8U soccer leagues, current fee is $20. We're requesting a fee change of $25. 12U soccer, current fee is $20, requesting a fee change of $30. 6U basketball, current fee is $20, requesting a fee change of $25. 8U, 10U, and 12U basketball leagues, their current fee is $20. We're requesting a change to $30. T-ball currently pays $20, requesting a fee to $25. For all other baseball leagues, currently charge $40. We're requesting a change to $50. The same for softball, for 8U, 10U, 12U softball, that's current $40, and we're requesting a fee change of $50. Those are the only, also we're requesting a fee change in our summer camp. So the current fee for that is $60 for the first child, $30 for each additional child, and that's a weekly charge. We're requesting that to go from $60 for the first child to $40 for each additional child. And there were no fee request changes in our other activities. I know that was a lot. I'm just reading that off the piece of paper, but if y'all have any questions on that, I'd be glad to answer them.
You've also checked with other surrounding
Yes.
rec centers, so we're not ahead of them.
We are currently, even with this change, this would put us just pretty much even with the next closest neighboring county when it comes to these charges and fees.
I think Mr. Pauly and I have always said, since we've been on the board, that these fees should be a little bit higher than, and we were undercharging people for the services, so.
So, and even with these fee changes, I think it's important to note, though, it's still a very affordable fee.
Nothing is definitely going down, it's going up.
Yeah, that is right. Any questions when it comes to fees or revenue? Okay. So for capital, we are requesting $30,000 for the Boykin Recreation Center to be painted. In February, we did secure some estimates. The highest one was $27,000, so we're requesting $30,000 there, just knowing that that estimate was secured in February.
Is that not included in that accommodations, or is that price included in that A&H tax?
No, it's not. Yeah, so this would be for the exterior of the building. So so according to the estimates that we were able to secure in February, they would come through, they would scrape all the paint off, pressure wash everything, and then repaint. That includes the trim, faucets, everything. We are requesting for funding for 2 additional commercial mowers. Let me get to that estimate there. So this would be for the Bad Boy Outlaw Rogue, 61-inch deck, 35 horsepower, Kawasaki engine. We have an estimate individually per one is $10,978.50, and we're requesting the funding for 2, so that'd be a total of $21,957.
Mr. Vance and Mr. Carpenter, I don't know if that requires a bid process, and are we trying to shop local with someone who we have in the county now that sells those types of mowers with some kind of servicing plan or something like that?
For 11,000, that only is going to require quotes, require bids. Council does have the ability to go with local preference, so we put the quotes out, we see what comes in. If a local bidder is low bid or close to low bid, we go to council, so we recommend going with the local bidder. Might cost us $300 more, whatever, but that would be.
Now, I will say to that point, I did go ahead and include, so we did secure 3 estimates for that piece of equipment, and that was the low price, and that happened to be the local dealer. So again, that price is $10,978.50. And we also secured a quote here. This one was $14,756. And this one here was $13,663.
You know, being in that business, and knowing a little bit about the different mowers and things like that, that particular unit there is sort of, I don't want to say it's the low ball, but it's not one of the top brands of mowers that can stand a lot of endurance, things like that. So my thing is when we do purchase mowers and things like that, we get something that we feel like that will last us a little bit longer. I know of a company in Columbia that I purchased a lot of mine equipment, stuff like that. They would give me a real deal, and their maintenance is second to none. It's a quick turnaround, but I'm not advocating for it, but I'm just saying that when we look at the different equipment, we really need to see how they stand up to the endurance portion.
So in that estimate, we did secure these were both Skag Tigers. One was $11,650. One was $11,150. This was a 26 horsepower engine, Kawasaki. So if council wants to provide the funds for that, we could. I think we just went with the Bad Boy because the last time we purchased, we got Bad Boy. So I think in order to kind of keep the simplicity down of maintaining and getting parts and supplies for the mowers, we were trying to have one model.
Just for clarification, and I'm sorry. I just checked with the administrator. The price here on our sheet says $21,957 for one and $45, but that's.
So it should be for two. Yes.
That's what I just for everybody to know that's clear.
Yeah. So that 21,000 number is for two. Yes. And then the last request on the capital is going to be for a new trailer, and we're requesting $5,000 for a new trailer. And it says, and that is another typo, that says 14 foot, I think probably on your spreadsheet there, but that's a 16-foot trailer. Yes. Mm-hmm. And that would conclude our requests for our expenses.
Question again, what was the price for the two mowers? Total price, $21,951, you say?
957, yes. $21,957, and that's for two.
Any other questions? Thank you, sir.
Okay. Thank you, council.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Bell.
Mr. Baines.
Oh, yeah. Yes, sir.
I just want to thank you for your responsiveness to the county from your department. I get a lot of comments about you and about your department and how responsive you are to the taxpayers' needs, and particularly over there on the western side of Fairfield County. They adore you because you respond to their needs and you respond quickly. And if you can't do it, you let them know and give them a time frame when you can do it. And I just want to publicly compliment your performance, your job, your duties, and what you do for this county. Because it's very important to those people when they can go to these recreation centers and be served the way that they are served, with the various classes, luncheons, and the different meetings and the information that is provided, particularly to these senior citizens who are in these various districts. They really appreciate it. If you haven't heard it, you heard it now.
Well,
Thank you.
Well, it's our pleasure, and I appreciate you saying that and bringing that up. You know, we are, I don't like to refer to our participants as customers, but they are our customers. And so if we look at them that way and we have customer service, I think it really provides a better offering to them. And so I tell our staff we're a very rural county, so we have a lot of centers that are rurally located, but we have the ability to change our calendars from month to month if we need to. If there's something that we're offering that they don't like or they want to do something different, all they got to do is let staff know, and then we can see if we can make it work. And if we can make it work, we're going to do it. All right. Thank you, Council.
Afternoon, Council. Appreciate you all being here to take the time to review the budget today. Sure.
If I need you, I'll call you.
like to get started again, please.
Afternoon, Council. Appreciate you all taking the time today to review the budget. So what you have in front of you is Community Development's fiscal year 2027 request. Now, taking a look at the numbers, they're a little bit skewed. The reason for that is because these numbers account for funds that are going to our contractual and professional services account, which I intend to go ahead and transfer those funds, if approved for additional positions, to bring some of those positions in-house. So some of the main fiscal challenges we continue to have in the department is the cost of our building inspector and our building official services. So both of those positions are third-party contracted services, and costs continue to rise on those from our providers. And just from this year to last year, from this year to next year, costs are increasing to approximately $115 an hour for inspector and building official services. So over time, we've had to go ahead and offer less services. What I mean by that is 2 years ago, our building official used to be here 3 to 4 days a week. Now he's only here 2 days a week for a lot more money. So my overall intention is to bring some of those funds and bring in that building inspector position as well as that building official in-house to try to limit our exposure to those continued increasing costs on the contractor side. So taking a look at account number 5101, salaries, I did account for some pay increases for 3 positions in the department. That is to account for some training that some staff has had. Those accounts for our permit technician position, business registrar position, and code enforcement officer position, as well as funding of an existing position vacancy, which is a code enforcement officer. So last year we did have a in-house building inspector that did retire. He was staff, he did retire, and he came back part-time. So luckily, we've been very lucky to have him, but when he's not available or he doesn't want to work, we have to go ahead and bring in that third-party building inspector. And the cost difference is significant. So just on that 5232 professional services account, that's about $182,000. And as I said, that's for getting less of what we had last year and the year before that, just because costs continue to increase on that. So for a building inspector, for example, for contracting out a third-party inspector, you're looking at $105 an hour. We're in-house, we're at about $35 an hour. So those cost differences are significant. So if approved for the budget that you see in front of you, a lot of the funds for hiring that building inspector position and that building official position will actually be drawn from the professional services account 5232. So that's why they might seem a little bit inflated. But again, those costs will be saved and those funds pulled from that account and transferred to salaries if those positions are approved.
What's the likelihood we'll be able to hire somebody for that position? Because I understand that's a difficult one.
It is. That's also a challenge as well. So for reference, I've had a building inspector position up on the website for about 9 to 10 months now, and I've gotten 3 applicants, which is why they can ask for so much money. There is a big shortage of building inspectors in South Carolina. It actually does not require college education. It does require certification through LLR, but that could take about 1.5 to 2 year training process, as well as looking for one that is actually familiar with the job site and everything, and has some experience under their belt. A lot of those costs do take, say, $60,000 to $70,000 a year. And for building official services, that's even higher. Our building official right now, that is third party, also is our stormwater manager and our floodplain manager. So there is an additional cost added to that. So looking at some larger counties, for example, Richland or Lexington, a building official can make, if they're they have a lot of experience under their belt, they can make north of 6 figures.
So it's seems to me that we're still going to be paying a professional, an outside inspector for a while until someone decides they might want to take this job.
Right. So the way I've kind of hoping to position ourselves is typically a lot of building officials, they tend to run their own building departments, right? So they have a lot of additional duties outside of doing building reviews and enforcing building code. Here, that's not the case. Since I'm the director, I manage that. So our building official really is able to do what they really want to do, which is review buildings and work with developers and everything like that on those type of projects. A lot of larger counties, there's a lot of other work that comes with it that a lot of people don't like. So I'm really hoping to try to leverage that to say, hey, let's say we have a building official that's from a larger county that's wanting to step back or semi-retire. You can come here 3 or 4 days a week. I'm more than flexible in our hours, but we just want to go ahead and try to provide more service to the citizens because right now it's only 2 days a week. So there's a lot of questions that, like say there's a contractor that has, with the building official, he's only here 2 days a week. Whereas 2 years ago it was 4 days a week. So trying to bring that position in-house and telling a building official, hey, you don't have to worry about anything else. Like you did at your other county, you can come here, focus on what you want to focus on for 4 days a week. That might be able to be a position that we can leverage. But it will continue to be a struggle, yeah. Any other questions on that? So continuing to go down the list for vehicle service, say about $1,000. That's for maintenance of 3 vehicles, 4 vehicles that we currently have in the department. Printing and binding advertising services, those are for public notice requirements for our planning commission and board of zoning appeals meetings. Typically, we have about 12 a year. We don't have one every single month. It just really depends on how busy we are. That's about $1,500. Looking at some other large areas as well, that'll be 5223 consultation services. That is something that we did not have last year. We did have the funds for it. That was actually listed in a different account under contractual services. And this is for continuing for LMO revisions, which is listed in the strategic plan. That is something that has been ongoing, but now with the strategic planning being implemented, revisiting those LMO revisions and driving that forward, especially reviewing that with y'all about any changes y'all want to make. Those are what those funds are for. Software agreements, we did have some savings there. There was some software in the past that we had acquired, but we hadn't implemented with our New World system that I've since canceled. And now we're currently using the software that the county currently maintains, which is New World, which is for our permitting software. Looking at some other accounts such as motor vehicle supplies, that's for general parts and maintenance of our fleet of vehicles. Within the department, we have 6 vehicles. 1, 2, 3. Yes, we have some for code enforcement, some for general office use, as well as some for our building inspectors. That is about $2,500. Looking at clothing supplies, that's 5313. This is going to include a fit for code enforcement officer, 2 code enforcement officer positions. We have 1 currently. We do have a vacant position that those funds are in here to go ahead and bring on board. That was a complaint and a concern from some of the citizens with a lot of the feedback we got from the strategic plan was especially regarding the housing. We have so much housing in the county that is dilapidated and not in livable condition, that are not meeting the code requirements. So by having a code enforcement officer, we can help to try to address some of those blighted areas. Gasoline and diesel are, given such a large county that we are, 720 square miles. Our inspector is typically only able to do about 10 inspections a day, maybe 11. Depending, a little bit less if the inspections are all over the place. So, I mean, just to go from Lake Wateree to Lake Monticello, for example, it adds up. So right there is about $7,800. We average in general about 160 gallons a month. Dues and memberships, that is for membership fees for myself and some additional staff for the American Planning Association, which is our trade association for planners. Permits and certifications, so this is another reasonable one at 4,500. That's account number 5412. That does account for some additional training for myself that I'd like to pursue through the County Council of Governments. There's a program called the Institute of Government I'd like to pursue, which y'all have had some training with that as well. In addition, for inspector renewal license for our part-time instructor right now, he's the one that is part-time on staff. He was previously with the department full-time. There are some licenses that we pay for that as well to cover his inspector license, as well as Justice County training for a code enforcement officer. So currently, the code enforcement officer we have is not trained through Justice Academy, so he cannot issue state licenses, or excuse me, state tickets regarding litter enforcement. We do have one right now, but I'd like to get a second one to help assist with that, we're specifically when it comes to litter enforcement. And then last but not least, you're looking at meals and lodging, 5501, of about $4,100. Those are for two conferences that we typically go to every year. One is for the South Carolina Association of American Planning Association. The other one is for litter enforcement. Those are two conferences that are in-state that we typically send 1 to 2 staff members per year to. And then 5503, registration fees, does account for some costs related to those conferences that we do go to once or twice a year. Typically, the planning one is in the fall, and the litter one is sometime around summer or fall. Any questions on that so far?
Yeah, I got one. The 5501 meals and lodging, it went up 20 and 25, 690 to now you're requesting 4,100.
Say that again?
They're like the meals, 5501 meals and lodging.
Mm-hmm.
24 and 25 is like around, $500-600.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's 4,100.
Yeah, so previously in the past, we did not send staff members to conferences. So now that is something that I wanted to start implementing. These are conferences that do occur regularly that in the past we did not regularly send somebody. So for example, this past year, myself and our community planner went to Charlotte for the National Planning Association. And then I'd like to send one member for the litter enforcement conference. That's not something that we did previously in the past that I'd like to start implementing on a yearly basis.
Basically with that, it's just continuous education, so it's...
That's correct, yeah. So at a lot of these conferences, similar to, say, like the Institute of County conferences with the Institute of Government, there's a lot of classes about different changes in laws. So for like the litter conference, they'll start talking about new implementations, new regulations, issues that we're dealing with regarding litter enforcement in the state, and how some of those counties, municipalities are helping to address those issues to try to bring some of those ideas here.
Thank you. Mr. Toledo, I'm struggling to understand the bottom line. If I look at 2026 actual amount so far through mid-May, it's 525,000. So if you extrapolate that, we might be near 600,000 by the end of the year, something like that.
In terms of total budget,
Total
correct?
budget, yeah, for this fiscal year, but next year you're requesting 763. And if I step back and think about, what I'm sorry?
He's requesting 823, that's what county administrator.
Right, yeah, you're requesting 823, but 763 is what Mr. Carpenter is putting forth for us to review. But you say that you want to bring in-house an expensive building inspector, which should reduce our costs, but this is going up, to me, pretty significantly, 25% from last year. So I'm struggling.
Right, so that's where those numbers are a little bit artificially inflated because the funds that this budget reflects is cost for that building inspector position and that building official position within salaries, but at the same time, those same costs I need to account for within our third-party contractor services. So if those positions are brought in-house, a lot of those funds from the contractor services won't be used because we won't need a third-party provider, and they'll be applied to the salaries account.
If you said that before, I apologize.
Yeah.
But, okay, thank you.
Yeah, that's why they seem a little bit inflated. Because if I do hire somebody, hopefully sooner rather than later, that nearly $200,000 of funds I have for contracted services would be brought in-house and would be
Gotcha. Thank you.
go pay for somebody. Yeah.
Any other questions, Councilman?
I can jump to our capital requests if y'all want to cover that. So we do have a small capital request. This will be our first one in a number of years. This is just for vehicles, so kind of implementing that enterprise vehicle lease program that the county has begun doing. Put in a request for 3 vehicles. This is based on age and mileage. So we do have inspector vehicle, code enforcement officer vehicle, and general use vehicle that each one of those has an excess of 100,000 miles, and the oldest one is 15 years old. So be appreciated if at least we can get one. That's for our inspector vehicle. He puts on a lot of miles, obviously driving from one side of the county to the other. And there has been some hiccups with it recently regarding maintenance. So to try to, hasn't been excessive compared to some other departments, but trying to prevent that from getting out of control. We did put in those, and that total cost for at least those 3 vehicles is $24,000 a year. That's a leased vehicle. So as part of that program, it would be part of a lease program where at the end we can turn the vehicle back in and it can apply towards a credit towards the next year's renewal. And those are for vehicles that we're actually trying to downsize. So currently our building inspector position drives a full-size Chevy Silverado 4x4 and looking to bring that down to a mid-size truck, a Ford Ranger 4x4, try to help us save a little bit on fuel economy and costs regarding insurance and everything like that on the larger trucks. And then the same thing for our code enforcement officer position right now. So that code enforcement officer is issued a Ford Explorer 4x4. I'll be dropping down to a Ford Bronco 4x4. And then currently for our general department vehicles, we have Chevy Silverados. And those are both used by building inspectors as well as code enforcement officers whenever the other vehicles are in for service. And that would be a replacement of a Ford Maverick.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Brad Douglas with the Fairfield County Sheriff's Office, and usually Terry Smith would be here, but she's out of town, so I'll be taking her spot today. Do you just want me to go through and start kind of going through each one, or let me start with the capital, or the capital items?
Yeah, just kind of go down and see if you want to draw attention to.
Okay, because I think most of the stuff in the general budget's kind of what we've done pretty much last year, pretty much. So I'll just go through these capital items. The main thing I think we have been talking to y'all a lot about is the firing range, just the need for a firing range in this county. We're still, and I think we just wrote another check to Newberry County to rent that range, because we have to continue going there. But we're having to travel out of county to qualify new hires for training, firearms training, and those sorts of things. So obviously, it would be very beneficial to have one in the county where we can get that stuff done. I think I've got on here my notes 25,000 on there, but I think we may have bumped that up to 40. I'm not sure what's on y'all's documents. 25, okay. And that's for basically a fence, because in order to have a range, first thing you got to do is have a fence. We have talked with, of course, in the past with Jonathan Burrs when he was with Public Works about kind of using them, to grade some land, to make the berm. A lot of that stuff we can kind of do. We're not asking for a lot for buildings and stuff right now. We just want some dirt that we can shoot, and we'll build on that as the future goes. And we're going to try to utilize things such as the federal 1033 federal surplus program to obtain, buildings when we get to that point and things. But right now, we're just looking for a fence to put around some dirt so we can shoot in this county rather than somewhere else. So that's the reason for that.
Do y'all have the land already, or? I remember we talking about that, and I don't remember.
We still discussed a couple things and looked at some land. Some of the land that would have been ideal for us didn't meet certain code regulations, I think. So that's kind of still up in the air. But
How much land would it require for that?
ideally, I think we would like probably 8 to 10 acres, I'd say. Just to have plenty of room for a good backstop and, just enough room to kind of not be on top of anybody. Mm-hmm. All right, and the next item we have on our the capital items is we have recently, you have to upgrade guns every so often, and we recently, and we're proud to say we've upgraded the guns that we're wearing now. Brand new guns, this next generation of Glocks, and we were able to do that at no cost to the taxpayers. And we did that through trade-ins, and because when seizures and forfeitures happen involving firearms, the sheriff's able to do certain things with those guns to give us credit for. So we were able to upgrade everybody in the office without having to come to y'all and ask for anything. What we're wanting to do, though, and this just seems to be the trend. I don't know how much you keep up with this. This is a trend within law enforcement now. It's just having optics on guns. Most agencies around us have those now. It increases accuracy, which is, a good thing all around. Generally 25% or so better shooting. And I think that's very important. We don't ever want to have to discharge our firearms, but when we do, we want to make sure it goes where we want them to go. And this would enable us to equip each of those guns that we're able to already get with those optics and with the holsters. You do have to have a different holster for them. So that cost is $28,699.92.
So Chief, you saying every deputy got this new gun now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It was just, we were kind of, I don't want to say end of life on the guns, but, they recommend, you get new guns every so many years. We were kind of past that recommended year, and we were just in a position where the dealers were going to give us a pretty good price on the trade-ins, and also with some forfeitures and seizures that we had that were, that judges had signed over basically to the sheriff's office. We were able to get the funds to completely pay for those new guns.
So basically, y'all did the hard part. Y'all bought the guns. Y'all want the holsters from us.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We got the expensive stuff already.
So
correct.
You just asked for the holsters.
That's right. Yeah, yeah. And we were trying to figure out a way to make that happen, and we just couldn't make that happen.
No problem.
Mm-hmm.
What was that total cost again?
I'm sorry?
What was the total cost again?
$28,699.92.
Anything else on that, council?
Just a few more things here. I'm sorry. I didn't know whether there's any more questions on that. I'm sorry. The next thing is that, last year we got 6 vehicles released, and we appreciate y'all doing that. And we're asking for 6 more this year, just to kind of keep our fleet cycling through and getting some newer vehicles. And I can say that we appreciate we're in much better shape with our vehicles, and we appreciate that. And we could tell we were in a staff meeting the other day and talking about, I can't think of the last time a transmission went out, or I can't think of the last time a motor blew, where that was really a weekly, once or twice a week conversation we were having in the past, and we haven't had that. And so with our meetings with Vic, we have, we're seeing our cost for maintenance on vehicles go down, and so that is something that that we're requesting less of on the maintenance. But we are asking for 6 more vehicles in that lease program, and that is a leasing program that costs for a yearly cost, or this year would be $107,822.
Are those vehicles readily available?
Sir?
Are those vehicles readily available, or is there a lead time on those?
Well, you kind of define relatively available compared to a fire truck and EMS. Yeah, they're pretty quick. I think last year when y'all approved those last year, I think we ended up getting those in hand, because there is a lead time with the outfitter who upfits ours, and I think 5 or 6 months. Yeah, 5 or 6 months we got them then. So right around Christmas, right around that time, the New Year.
Chief, what kind of vehicles are you requesting, and where are they going? They going on the patrol?
Let's see. If you bear with me just a minute, I can tell you where we're going to put them. We've let's see. We've got it's going to be 3 marked vehicles and 3 unmarked cars. And our marked vehicles, we're in a fairly good, that's the bulk of our vehicles. We're in a fairly good spot with those. But it's our other ones now that, we still got 2012, 2013s on the road, and we're trying to get those off the road. And kind of as soon as we feel if we get through this and get some of those, we're going to be in a pretty good shape all around. Because those the unmarked ones, usually an administrative role or, that type of thing, don't get quite as much wear and tear on them. So we feel good about those lasted a long time. So 3 and 3, 3 marked, 3 unmarked. And I can tell you exactly what we're getting if you want, if you'd like. You want me to go through the itemization of what we're getting? Okay, all right. Okay. All right, and the last thing we're asking for, and certainly the most expensive, is over the last couple of years we've sat down and we realized this, we do try to be good stewards of the money we have. And we've sat down and said these are things we need. And of course, we're in a pretty bad shape with cars, and y'all have helped us. We're really in a better place for that. Our body-worn cameras were, that was one of the things they were breaking to the fact we're having to move them around and make sure the patrol has it, no one else has it, that type thing. So we replaced those, and we're actually able to do that, luckily, through a grant. So that was one of the big ticket items that we've been looking at. And then last year, we're in the same situation with tasers, end of life. And y'all got us new tasers, and we appreciate that. Those will last a while. And now we're at the end of life with a lot of our radios. And right now we're exploring options for cheaper options with the I don't want to bore you with the different radio systems, but we're a little bit different than fire and EMS. We're almost called Palmetto 800 system. It's a statewide operating system and actually it goes outside the state, but statewide operating system for first responders. Kind of grew out of September 11th when they found out the big communication gaps they had in New York City. But it allows other, and I say law enforcement because that's who we deal with mostly, other law enforcement, if a manhunt happens here and they come here, you're just on a channel. You snap your fingers and everybody can be on the same channel. Vice versa, if we go help someone else. If God forbid we have an incident at the schools, that's where everybody's going to come in. They're going to be on those channels and everybody's talking as soon as they come in. There's no coming in and figure out who's doing what. If something happens at the nuclear plant, that's those systems. And it's an expensive system, and Motorola is an expensive product. And again, we're looking at some cheaper options. And we've got some radios, and they've kind of pushed some things back, so we're kind of been limping those along. But we do have some that are basically, because of the, I guess you'd say, software, just older software and old, basically like little computers, and they're older. And starting next year, some of these just aren't going to work anymore. I mean, these are about probably 12 or 13 years old. And we're kind of past life on those. But we're looking to replace a bulk of our mobile, the radios that are in cars. All of those are our oldest ones. And so we're looking to replace 73 of those. And then I think it looks like five of our handheld radios. And that's $605,000, $359.46. Yeah. Yeah. And we are actually in the process right now. We just got it in our, obviously, it'd be great to have done this a month ago, but we just got a new product in our hands that the system that EMS and fire uses. They do the PAL 800 in the fleet. We are demoing that right now, and that's a little bit cheaper there. But we just want to make sure that, that's our lifeline for our folks when they're somewhere in the middle of nowhere dealing with something, and we want to make sure that we've got a good product for that.
I was talking to a friend of mine after church the other day, and I guess he's in sales with Motorola, I think, and he was telling me that some of the radios we have, they don't communicate with fire, y'all with fire, and EMS, they're not all interconnected so you can all communicate. Did I understand him right, or is that, it seems like that ought to be, it should be.
That is accurate. Again, the fire and EMS are on it's called the Fleet Talk. It's a UHF system. Y'all forgive me if I get the terminology wrong. It's a different system we're using. We're on that PAL 800. And we cannot talk directly with them. Now, the radios that we are demoing right now have the ability to do both, and that's the first time. These are just coming out. There have not been any like that before that you can do both. And so we're looking at that, and even encompassing those channels. If it works good, the main thing is to make sure that our guys can talk to each other and ladies can talk to each other. But if it works good, I think those do come in a little bit cheaper. Even with that extra channel, that comes in cheaper than just the Motorola product. But again, that's something that's literally on the road right now. We have a couple of them, they're demoing them. But we do have, with those, we do have that ability. And you're right, it sounds crazy, and the Fleet Talk system is a great system. I had conversations with Tim and Jamie. It's a great system. We just, and I told them this, if we were on an island, that would be great. But we live in a world where something happens, we need to call other gun toters, and we need to be good partners. If they call us, we need to be able to go to them, and we need to be able to talk right away. And we feel that this PAL 8 system gives us that flexibility to be able to do that.
Yeah, that sounds good. Can y'all communicate? You can communicate with this with all of them, but can they communicate with each other? I don't know if you know that or not, but I mean,
The one that we're demoing now?
Yeah. So that would be for
that one that we're demoing now has the capability to communicate with them, and they can communicate with each other. So, yeah.
Just to be clear on that's not Motorola that we're demoing.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I don't care what kind it is.
Yeah.
As long as everybody can communicate.
Yeah.
That's the key. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So the Motorola system is the best system that y'all want, though, right?
Well, it's the PAL 8 system and that's not owned by Motorola, but Motorola is, that's kind of like the predominant name in it, and I'm gonna tell you their product's very durable, it from personal experience. Those things get dropped and all that stuff, and they keep a licking and keep on ticking,
My suggestion, I don't think you need to scamp on because it's your lifeline, and I think we need to spend money on it because you get on the western side, and sometimes that thing don't work.
Yes, sir.
And I don't had the experience that it don't work, okay? So,
That's a bad feeling.
Yeah, that's a real
Yeah.
bad feeling. So,
Well-
I don't want y'all to kind of skimp thing.
And that's why we're doing our due diligence with this new one that just came out, making sure, hey, if it works great and it's cheaper, hey, even better, because, but we want to make sure before we want to do that, we want to make sure that, because that's, like I always tell everybody, most of us in here are sleeping every night from about 11 in the morning, and we have, some guys out and ladies out here working in the middle of the night. We want to make sure if they need help, they can get help, while we're in the bed. And that's, unless you just want me to go through our regular budget, but I think pretty much our regular budget's pretty much what we've done before with a couple of allowances, I think.
The only additional to that is the 2 new positions in courthouse security that are in your budget request.
We have asked for that, that's great. And that's just because, with the new layouts and schematics of the courthouse, and the requirement to have security at that front door all the time, it's just kind of thinning out the ability to have security in the courtroom. Right now we've been kind of pulling investigators out and that type thing, helping out.
I will say this too, with what Mr. Gadsden said, I agree, I don't think you're gonna skimp on, whatever the cost is.
Yes, sir.
To get the best, because it's very, very important, I believe.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. All right.
Thank you. Mr. Cabell.
In our recent release strategic plan, your department is very crucial to this county.
Yes, sir.
So thank you for that. And in reading the strategic plan, we're trying to abide by what the citizens want. And your department, the sheriff's department, is very, very important to this county. So thank you very much.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thanks, sir.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. I'm Cornell with the Public Works Director, and I have about 4 trucks that I'm in need of, and they are, I have one that's 2003 F-350 with, it's 23 years old with about 300,000 miles on it. Right at it. 210,000 miles. That need to be replaced. One of them with a bloated engine, a crane truck, service truck and a crane truck, and 2 maintenance trucks that I'm asking for. And they are like 2017, 2015 models with over 300,000 miles. And we have spent probably approximately about $10,000 in each one. Transmissions and all that. So those trucks definitely need to be replaced. And we have a tractor. I guess all this capital. In the capital, I have a tractor. We asking for a mini X that with the equipment, with the attachments with it, so they could trim back limbs and stuff on roads. And as you know, most of the time, everybody calling Public Works to do it. And a lot of time we don't have the equipment to do it with. So, and the manpower now. So, but that's what I was asking for in the capital. Huh? Find another jobs. Everybody complain about money. So Yeah. And I was asking for, in the salary, 5101, I think. We was asking for a little bit more money. I got the extra figures, but we are trying to get the attendants a little more money. We are trying to get them up to a $2 raise, so. And what else we got?
One of the things you'll notice is under 5325, under maintenance supplies, there's a pretty big increase there.
Yep.
Part of that is because we're now bringing in both revenue from road maintenance fee and spending that money on the road maintenance. So you'll see that increase is there, as well as, of course, fuel. You know, I know what happened in this, but fuel is going to be in the mid-450s more for us.
Yeah.
And so I always, having lived through one fuel crisis and the underestimate fuel, we always try to make sure we know that things will change to, if anything, overestimate. So that goes up a good bit. So those two line items go up a good bit, and his budget as well to reflect. Again, putting more money into road maintenance and as well as the fuel.
And the rental lease.
Mr. Robinson,
Yes,
we probably use more diesel than anything, don't we?
a little bit of both, gas and diesel.
I'm glad to
And
see you're looking to give the attendants a couple dollars an hour raise. That's been long overdue, I think.
Yes, sir. Because I think what we did made them part-time now, right? Yeah, so. And then 5401.01, rental lease equipment. If y'all know, we rented a hot box to do patching the roads and stuff. We had thought about buying one, but I think that's out. But anyway, the rental is going up, increasing. All that's increasing in the rental and the roller. So that's why I was asking for a little increase in that too. So. I think that's about all I have.
Any question, council?
5401.
I don't have a question, but Mr. Roberts, I'd like to thank you and your team. Y'all tore down a house in my district a couple of weeks ago, and the residents love it, and I appreciate you, and tell your team they did a great job, okay?
Thank you.
Dale?
Any other questions?
Sir, I have a question about when you do repairs on the road, more specifically when you fill in a hole. Why is it doesn't last more than 4 or 5 days?
4 or 5 what?
Days.
Well,
Account
we don't have a
concern.
roller. We don't own a roller. And we trying to get one from a Bowman. See what they're gonna give us. And we don't have a roller. We just put it in there and run over with the truck or something. So,
Yeah,
but as long as we rent the hot box and the roller, they stay pretty good. So,
to Councilman Bell's question, is there a different I don't know anything about road paving, asphalting, and all that stuff, but is there a different technology out there somewhere that when we fill a pothole, it stays filled?
that's a good question. I don't know. We get our tar from Luckstone whenever they run it. It depends on what's in it. And I don't know what all they put in it. So sometimes it stays and sometimes it don't.
Sometimes we use a full patch.
Yeah.
It's, it's still, the state has the same, I mean, even with the equipment they got, their pothole filling is not,
Yeah, they fill them also.
not very good. I mean, you can see it everywhere where they fill them. And then no time it's bad
If you
again.
fill them in, if you
without
ain't got
doing
that roller, they ain't gonna last anyway.
Right.
Sir, I'm not directing this to you, but it just seems like to me that this is highly inefficient when when you don't have the equipment to do the job. I could respond otherwise, but I won't publicly, but having a conversation with you. It just seems like something is missing from this equation when we're driving around the county. And on a Monday, I see your department filling a hole, and then on Friday, that hole has returned. We don't have the equipment to fill the hole and maintain the hole being filled efficiently. Is there a possibility that we can communicate and work with the people who do have the equipment, like BOMAG, to assist in us in possibly renting, buying, leasing the necessary equipment to make sure the work that we do is a little bit more permanent than 5 days?
Well, BOMAG, they say they give us a good deal on one. They do not rent. So we took a tour of the plant a couple months ago.
And to your point also, ultimately, as we saw in Columbia this year, the state has all the equipment, the state has the money. Then the CPC gets $2.5 to $3 million a year that they spend on paving new roads, and they're not putting that money into maintaining existing roads. So the money is divided up in so many different categories. I think what would be our ideal situation is we have a paving crew. We'd have equipment that we could go out and read whole stretches of road instead of pick a hole, pick a hole, pick a hole. You just go ahead and do a whole stretch. That's ultimately where would be the ideal situation.
Exactly.
But that's not what we are.
Yeah.
Thanks, sir.
All right. Anything else?
Thank you, Mr. Ross. Anything? Thank you, sir.
All right.
Mr. Chairman, I do have one. On the Mr. Carpenter, this is for you. On the capital budget, you gave us a spreadsheet a while back with the whole binder. I'm just trying to sort out where the 8 mil tax increase, is that in something called the lease purchase fund? Because there's a breakdown for the 2.1 million in capital projects. And
So, right.
would that be the 8 mil, the lease purchase fund? It's targeted for that amount?
This actually, basically, I think the sheet that Ms. Mosey handed out was kind of like, this kind of changes and updates.
Okay, this one here?
Yes, sir. So if you see under the funding coming budget, about 1 point, I can't see, we couldn't last.
1.258?
Yes, sir. Right. And that's what revenue is anticipated for this year from that fund.
From that 8 mil, okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
May I get a motion?
So moved.
Motion is second that we adjourn. If there are no questions, prepare to vote. All in favor? Let the record show 6